Our next slammer, she's the fifth born of 8 children. She graduated from Norfolk State University and went on to law enforcement, where she was known as officer friendly to those at NSU. She is tirelessly committed to serving people and positively impacting the lives of others. When she's not bringing down the house with her powerful hymns, she enjoys sewing, jewelry making, and the performing arts. Her story is, I Know Who Holds Tomorrow. Please welcome to the stage, Regina Lee. All right, clap Regina.
Hello, good evening. It is such a pleasure and a privilege to be here this evening. If this were 50 years ago, 4 Kids would be the organization for me. It would have enhanced my life. My story begins with me being a foster child in the city of Norfolk from the age of 6 until 18. 6 years old until 18 years old. And I had an opportunity then to name my story, it would have been 12 years a slave. I tell you, it was the most horrendous experience, the most heartbreaking, the worst thing that any child could go through. And during that time, foster care was horrible. 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 And it was a broken system. And I don't know today how I got through it. Then I do know how I got through it. But I learned something very early. I learned that I had a very special gift. I had a special gift. I could sing. I could sing at 6 like any woman sang at 18 or 19. And that for me was really special. It made me somebody special. I remember once in 2nd grade, one of my teachers, back then at school you had devotionals. You had a prayer in the morning, you had the Pledge of Allegiance, and then you perhaps had somebody read a poem or sing a song. And that was always done from the principal's office. So that particular day, my teacher must have heard me singing, or the music teacher must have told her I could sing or something. Anyway, she asked me to do the devotional. And so I said, okay. And so I wanted to know what I needed to do. So she said, well, I want you to lead the devotional. I want you to do the prayer. I want you to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. And I said, okay, I can do that. I'm good. Because there was another thing that I knew about myself, too. I could sing and I could talk up some stuff. I could talk because when I was in foster care, there were 3 of us, my sisters. We were all together. I had one sister who was older and mad with the world, so she wouldn't talk. Then I had another sister who was much younger, very quiet, very, very bashful, very reserved, and she couldn't talk. So I had to talk. I talked for her, I talked for her, I talked for you, I talked for them, I talked for every doggone body I could. So I was in trouble most of the time just talking. So when this lady gave me the opportunity, I said, I can do that. So I went to the office and I did my little do. And when I came back to my class, one of my classmates, a silly old boy, who probably liked me anyway. I didn't have hair to pull because I had a little short hair. So he said, Regina Lee. And everybody in my circle called me by my entire name because they thought it was a middle name, Regina Lee, something Regina Lee. So they would say, Regina Lee, was that you singing? I said, that was me. He said, Regina Lee, you sound like an old lady. I was so heartbroken, but soon I understood what it meant. It took a few years. It meant that I was very mature in how I sounded and that I really could sing. And so because of that, those 2 little things, I was included in everything at my school. Now here I was, a kid, 6 to the age of 18, never had a parent show up at a PTA meeting, never had anybody to represent me. But the Lord placed some really special people in my life. He placed angels along the way, my friends who were angels, and whose parents would begin to cover me when they went to meetings. And so my friends would say, my mama talked about you at PTA meeting the other night. I said, girl, what? Your mama talked about me. Thank you so much. So it was it started out bad, but it ended up being for my good. And so these same girls would say, friends would some kids would never know that I was in foster care because my friends would protect me. Somebody might say, oh, she's a foster, and one of my girlfriends would say, yeah, she's a foster. So what you saying? What you talking about? Yes, you're a foster, but we're not gonna talk about that because that's Regina Lee, that's our friend. So I was covered by angels everywhere. And in elementary school, it was the most amazing thing. School for me was a safe haven. I was never sick because I had to get to school. Because at school, like, if you remember the movie The Help, and when Aibileen was telling little May Mobley, she said, you are smart, you are kind, and you is important. So at school, I was smart, I was kind, and I was important. And another thing, I could sing. So that made me really, really special. I was in every program. I was at every event. I was everywhere doing everything all the time. My name was in lights. I was an outstanding student because I had to be. I had to compete. So if I was going to be there, I had to be the very best. So this thing that I thought was the most horrible thing was probably one of the best things that ever happened in my life. So that was elementary school, and I loved school. I never missed a day of school. From the time I was 2nd grade to 11th grade, I got perfect attendance because I was at school every day because I knew it was safe. I knew it was a place that I could grow. I knew it was a place that people loved me. I knew that it was a place that I was important. So school was it for me. And then I went on to junior high school, and then the Lord really placed some other very special people in my life. There were angels all around me, and there were people who said to me, in 7th grade, you're going to college. I said, college? No foster kids where I know go to college. College? What's college? I can go to college? My 7th grade teacher, who couldn't be with me today, now I'm 61. So she would have been here today, but she's out of town. But guess what, you all? I brought the next best thing to her. It would be the mentor to my 7th grade teacher who's here with me today in the person of Miss Inez Howard. The next best thing to having my precious teacher here. But she would tell me in no uncertain terms, you are somebody. You will go to college. I thought, college? Okay, I think I might go to college then. So she would tell me these things. And let me tell you something. After 7th grade, and I had come into my blackness in 7th grade, after 7th grade, I was no longer just kind, just smart, just important, and could sing. I was beautiful. So those were the things I was all of a sudden. I was no longer just those 4 things, but I was all of a sudden beautiful. Nobody had ever told me as a kid that I was beautiful. Nobody. I was called everything, but beautiful was never one of those things. And so here this woman is pouring into my life and other friends, just bringing people into my circle. And there were lots of teachers, because I was told by my foster parents when I was younger, the teachers, they don't really like you. They're just doing things for you because they feel sorry for you. And I believed that until God sent some special people to turn that thing around in my head. And so I began to believe in myself and believe that I could do things and believe that I could go places and believe that I could do the impossible and believe that I was somebody and believe that I was precious and believe that I was all of that and more. And so then I went on to high school, and believe it or not, I was in the 2nd group to be bused in the city of Norfolk. And God would have it that a couple of those same teachers who had pushed me and poured into me ended up in my high school. What a blessing. Those people were there to make sure that I actually got to college, that I did well in high school, that I remembered who I was and where I had come from. So it's been a wonderful journey. So the ironic thing is that the very thing that horrified me, the very thing that I thought would kill me, the very thing that I hated, the very thing that I dreaded from day to day. Sometimes I would leave home with the threat of not having a place to stay when I got back, because my foster parent might say, your things will be on the porch when you get back. And so I would leave and go to school, because at school I would forget all of that. But just as it was time to come home, it would all come back, and I would peep around the corner of my little house and say, now, if my stuff is on the porch, then I know I'm out the door. But never did it happen. So all of those experiences made me understand who I am and brought me to the point. So I understand that it had to happen. And at some point in my life, I began to say, now, what song can I call on that will carry me on this journey? And the one song that came to mind is I Don't Worry About Tomorrow. And so I began to live that song. I don't care what happened in my home. When I left, I didn't worry about anything. I would come back, and the next day at night I would pray, I don't even care about tomorrow, because if it doesn't come, I don't have to worry about it anyway. So I would take that song, and even in all of that horrible existence, I learned to be a lady. I learned to take care of myself from the very woman that I thought hated my guts. But little did I know, she just did the best she could. She was just doing the best she could. And I learned there to take care of myself. I learned things about the birds and the bees that kept me safe from the wilds of the world. I learned to be a lady and to always remember to select someone who would treat me like a lady. And so it's been an awesome experience and an awesome journey. And right now I just want to share with you a little bit of the song that kept me focused, that kept my back from being against the wall. So I just want you to hear the words of this song, and if you can use it, grab hold of it and run, because it's powerful. I don't worry about tomorrow. I just live from day to day. I was singing like this at 6, 7. I don't borrow, no, from its sunshine. For skies, they may turn all gray. No, I don't worry about my future, for I know what Jesus said, and today I'll walk beside him, for he knows what is ahead. Oh, I don't worry about all of my tomorrows. Oh, I just live from day to day. I don't borrow, no, from its sunshine. For skies, they may turn all gray. No, I don't worry about my future, for I know what Jesus said, and today I'll walk beside him, for he knows what is ahead. Oh, many things about tomorrow, Lord, I don't seem to understand, for I know who holds all of my tomorrows. Yes, I know he holds my hand. I don't worry about tomorrow.